So, people, we got some interesting news and takes. One is that the crypto voting bloc, will decide this election. And the Digital Chamber of Commerce sent out a poll that makes it look like it's going to do so. Now, I don't actually believe this, but they have some interesting statistics, but of course, I think they're blowing them up. And they're saying that the US has 26 million strong crypto voting bloc ahead of elections. Now, 26 million voters is more than 1/10 of the voting population because the US has about 300 million people, but some of those are kids. So 26 million is more than 1/10 of the voting population. And 10% swing in an election cycle like this could easily be the deciding factor if they all lean towards one way. And that's if that's their primary issue that they vote on, which I actually don't think it is. 1 in 7, or 16% of respondents in a survey by the Digital Chamber said they'd vote for the most pro-crypto candidate. Now, I don't really know who they're actually polling because, when NBC or even Fox or whether a news station or any other outlet outside of a crypto outlet does this poll, crypto is the primary deciding factor in less than 1% of people, so it wasn't really all that relevant. So I don't really know what kind of people they're polling to get 16% of the respondents saying that they vote for the most pro-crypto candidate. Around 26 million US voters are part of the crypto voting bloc. I think they're basically including everyone who actually owns crypto or owns 0.0001 Bitcoin or something, flagging a pro-crypto policy as a top requirement when deciding on who to vote for in the upcoming election, survey has found. But like I said, I'm not really sure who they actually surveyed because I am very hesitant to actually believe this. 1 in 7, or 16% of 1,004 respondents said crypto was extremely or very important in deciding who to vote for and were much or somewhat more likely to vote for a candidate if they were pro-crypto, according to a survey released by October 17th, the Digital Chamber. Now, if the Digital Chamber only polled its subscribers, obviously that's going to be very, very biased. I'm just wondering when they actually sent the survey, to who they sent it to, and how they worded the questions. So the voting bloc is divided as likely voters who both say the issue of crypto is either very or extremely important in determining their vote, and also to say a candidate being pro-crypto makes them more likely to vote for them. So that's kind of weird. It added that at least 25% of Democrats and 21% of Republicans said a candidate's stance on crypto would possibly impact their likelihood of voting for them. But it did not say that was their primary issue. The Digital Chamber founder and CEO, Perrine Boring, says the results should be a wake-up call for policymakers as experts predict tight race for the White House. Now, they should actually pay attention to this because I think digital assets are going to become a bigger and bigger issue, but I'm not really sure if it's taken center stage quite yet. Like I said, there's been other surveys sent out, and crypto priority doesn't even rank in the top 10. So this survey's results, by obviously a pro-crypto organization, is very much different from every other survey I've seen. Maybe all the other surveys are wrong and this one is right, but I find that very, very unlikely. And they're saying voters are sending a clear message. They want smart, balanced regulation that protects consumers without stifling innovation. The survey also found 2 in 5 black voters listed a crypto candidate's crypto policies as an important criteria when deciding who to vote for. So maybe that was Kamala Harris's pitch to protect black crypto voters. I think that was a dumb pitch, by the ways, but maybe that had some effect to it. So I can't really see. I honestly can't imagine 16% of people overall and 40% of black people say crypto policy would be extremely important when they vote. I feel like they're really inflating those numbers, especially the black voter numbers. I have talked to a lot of black people about the vote and, black friends and all, and I don't think any of them ever has mentioned crypto once. In fact, none of my friends, and all my friends are either millennials or Gen Z, which are the generations more likely to hold crypto, and crypto is not high on their priority list, if it's on their priority list at all. Stuff like abortion, the economics, even homosexual marriage, things like that. Those things rank way, way higher than crypto on their priorities list. I think I'm really the only one that cares out of like almost all my friends that really cares about crypto all that much. They might care a lot about the stock market, but they don't really care that much about crypto. So I'm just wondering what the demographic of this survey was, because I would really like to know. And yes, there are just as many Democrats that hold crypto as Republicans. That's not only this survey, but like a lot of other surveys. So I don't know. I think they are pumping up these numbers. But if it's true that like 26 million people say that crypto is one of their main concerns or primary agendas, then obviously the voting bloc is way, way more bigger and way, way more important than we think. We'll see what the results of this election say and like the aftermath of everything. But I do think they are inflating these numbers. So the SEC has actually met the deadline for filing the form. I think a lot of Ripple people were getting really excited because they didn't file the form yesterday, but the deadline was actually the 17th, so they did actually file it. What does this mean for the lawsuit? Well, it's going to go on. It's probably going to drag on at least until January of 2026. That is probably the expected time of resolution. I know you'll hear from the XRP group and the XRP army that they're going to settle like way before that. But realistically, when have they ever been right about that? Remember, like the original lawsuit, they finally resolved it in August of 2023, a little bit more than a year ago, about a year and 3 months ago, if I remember correctly. After like 2-3 years of fighting it out, and they took the full length of time. The settlement of how much their fines are going to pay, they dragged that until the end too. So my guess is because one of the SEC's tactics is delay, because I think like regardless of who actually wins the presidency, the SEC is going to lose the case. The court's already set, and they're not really going to win in court, but they're going to drag this out for as long as possible. So regardless of what happens, I feel like it's not going to end until 2026. So like if you hear rumors of like, the case is going to resolve, in 2 weeks or something, maybe like the election will actually affect it. I'm not really sure, but there's a long drawn out process of like, actually appointing new commissioners and getting them actually verified by Senate and all that stuff. So it's at least going to drag out a couple of months. So don't expect a resolution to this stuff, anytime within the next 5 or 6 months at least, and probably it will drag out until 2026. That's what it means, which means XRP might well miss another bull run. So I think you should probably find another coin to invest in. And there are even more Ethereum centralization concerns than before. And this one's really serious because two builders have produced 88% of Ethereum blocks in October. And October is not just like, a day or two anymore or a couple of hours. It's like a full half month. If you have two builders producing 88% of the blocks, then you just might be in a little bit of trouble when it comes to centralization and decentralization, and thus proving Ethereum is not really decentralized, which I think a lot of us already knew. So some analysts don't see this as a centralization concern due to Ethereum network's underlying builder prosper architecture. Two Ethereum block builders produced the majority of blocks during the first 2 weeks of October, raising concerns about centralization on the world's second largest blockchain network. Ethereum block builders Beaver Build and Titan Builder were responsible for 88.7% of all blocks produced over the past 2 weeks on the mainnet, according to Tony Washstatter, a researcher at the Ethereum Foundation. He wrote on October 17th X post, "This trend is primarily driven by the rise of private order flow XOF, sold exclusively on certain apps. XOF reduces genuine competition among builders in the block auction, leading to a smaller pool of shared transactions. The degree of centralization on Ethereum is critical to maintaining the protocol's security. Centralized entities controlling a large percentage of transactions could theoretically prioritize certain transactions, which goes against the decentralized ethos of blockchain technology." I mean, but with Ethereum, when it's jammed, I think it's already like whoever pays the most gets the transaction first. So not really sure about that. But definitely it could be a problem if they start favoring certain transactions over the others on something besides like how much they're paying per transaction. But yes, definitely like two people building like all the blocks in October. It is something to actually look at. I wouldn't really worry about it too much, but still, something to keep in mind and maybe something to try to fix in the future. Although some people think that it's not really that much of a concern as this doesn't actually necessarily mean Ethereum is centralized. Despite the dominance of two builders, this doesn't necessarily introduce significant centralization concerns, according to Ryan Lee, chief analyst at BitGet Research. Lee told Cointelegraph, in Ethereum's underlying design, there is a proposer-builder separation, meaning the proposer cannot see the specific contents of the block proposed by the builder. So maybe there is a separation, but still not, I don't think it's like that great of a look when you have like so many, just two people building most of your blocks. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.